All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to go ahead and complete this review. By now, you should have already studied a little bit and done this on your own. So this video is just to verify if you got the questions or the answers correct, okay? So tides, this is precisely what we were talking about yesterday. If you already noticed that the moons and the sun and the earth are aligned, remember, they're working together to pull to have a gravitational pull on Earth, and the high tides are going to be really, really high, and the low tides are going to be really, really low. Okay, so here we already know that this is a spring tide. Okay, that only occurs during a new moon and a full moon. Same thing with your neap tide. Now it's the total opposite, right? So look at how the moon, the sun, and the earth are aligned. If you notice, they're at a 90-degree angle. So instead of working together, such as in a spring tide, now they're working against each other. The moon is pulling earth on one side, and then the sun is pulling on the other side. So that is considered a neap tide. And all that means is that during a third quarter and a first quarter moon phase, that's when you're going to have your tides that they're not too high, and your low tides, they don't go too low. Okay? High tides are not too high, low tides are not too low. All right, so that's tides. So let's make sure we read this correctly and we label it as either spring or neap tide. So first quarter moon and third quarter moon. What did we just write? This is supposed to be a neap tide. What occurs during a full moon and a new moon? Spring tide. High tides at their lowest levels. Okay, high tides at their lowest levels. What does that mean? That the high tides are not too high. That they're high, they're considered a high tide because it increased a little bit, but not too high. Okay, so this is a neap tide. And that's how the test is going to try to trick you, because you're like, high tides at their lowest levels, what? Just make sense of it, read it, make sure you understand it. That's at a neap tide. Low tides at their lowest level. What does that mean? That it's extremely low. Okay, and that's considered a spring tide. And then not last but not least, unusually high tides and unusually low tides. So too high, too low. Spring tides. Earth, sun, and moon are aligned. Earth, sun, and moon are aligned. They work together. That is a spring tide. Okay. Earth, sun, and moon at a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle. Neap tides. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it right here for a little bit. And I do want you to pause the video for a little bit and then, copy down what you need to copy down. All right, so now let's answer the next questions. How long does it take for the moon to revolve around Earth? 27.5 days, and we're going to round that off to 28 days. Okay. About how many days would it take to go from a full moon to a new moon? So think about it, guys. If it takes 28 days for the moon to revolve around Earth, right? A full moon and a new moon are considered like halfways, correct? So if we want to know how long it takes for a full moon to go to a new moon or vice versa, all you have to do is divide. 28 divided by 2. It's 14 days for a full moon, approximately 14 days for a full moon to go to a new moon, and vice versa. So this is how you're going to be tested, guys. Dates of new moons and dates of full moons. We already just mentioned, if it takes 28 days, okay, for the moon to revolve to make a complete revolution around Earth, if we want just half of it, then that's 14 days. So all you have to do is add 14 to June the 10th. So June the 10th plus 14, June the 24th. July the 11th plus 14, 25. 11 plus 14. Let me just make sure. It's late, guys, and I'm tired. Yes, 25. Okay. So that should already give you an idea of what to do for August the 10th and August the 9th. Go ahead and pause the video. Write down what you need to write down. All right, next, label and shade in the correct moon phases. If you're here on campus, you're going to be getting a hard copy, and you can actually fill in the little circles with the moon phases. But if you don't, then make sure you know or that you have your ISN there with you, because you're going to need that for this right here. Okay, so another test question is going to look like this. So you're going to have kind of like a calendar. Of course, it skips some days, and it'll tell you, okay, what moon phases are going to be occurring during those days. And it's just going to give you, like, for example, on day 7, it's a dark moon, all shaded in. So that means that this is a new moon. All right, so new moon. That's already kind of like your basis that you can use for the next moon phase. Look at how many days each one lasts, like about 3 to 4 days. 4 days. 3 days. 4 days. Okay, so what's the next moon phase? This is where you can either add pictures or you can even draw. So let's say the next moon phase is going to be a waxing crescent, starting to grow, starting to illuminate, right? So it's going to be illuminated on the right side. So then we're gonna shade in all of this area. I'm gonna make that bigger. Okay, that did not help. Let's keep it at 8. There. Okay. Next, day 14, and make sure you label it. Label it. Okay, this is a waxing crescent. Then keep going. Draw your shapes. And then it's growing in illumination. It's illuminated on the right-hand side. Okay, so then this is going to be first quarter and illuminated on the right-hand side. Again, draw your shape. That's first quarter. It's growing in illumination, still illuminated on the right-hand side, but now it's almost a big moon. Waxing gibbous. That should be more curved. So you keep on going, right? Now, that's easy. But what if we had to go backwards? Same thing, still easy. It's before new moon. Waning crescent. What's the difference between a waning crescent and a waxing crescent? It's illuminated on the left-hand side. So now we have a little white banana right here. Oops. This is where you're going to really have to take your time. There it is. Okay. Make sure, again, you need to have your moon phases memorized and know how to color them in. Okay. All right. Oh, go ahead and pause the video and complete the rest. All right. Next, complete the sentences with the following words. So here, very easy. All you have to do is make sure you write the correct words into its correct position. The moon is constantly affected by the blank blank of the Earth's blank, which causes it to continue to blank. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. Am I missing something? Give me 1 second. Never mind. So the moon is constantly affected by the, if you notice, unbalanced force. Okay. Of the Earth's blank, which causes it to continue to blank the Earth. So the moon is constantly affected by the unbalanced force of the Earth's orbit. Which causes it to continue to go ahead and skip that, guys. Sorry, I was thinking and this doesn't make sense. For sure, the tilt of Earth's axis and Earth's revolution around the sun causes Earth to experience seasons. Sun moves forced, orbit, revolution, seasons, continue to gravity. Earth's gravity. This is gravity, guys. Causes it to continue to orbit the Earth. Again, I'm tired. Go ahead and pause the video and copy that down, please. All right, so next, draw the sun and Earth tilt when the northern hemisphere has winter time. So we use the little markers, make it a little thinner. I'm gonna go ahead and draw the sun. And then Earth, oops, Earth, and then the moon. Oh, not the moon. So now, in order for us to know which one is the northern and the southern hemisphere, make sure you write it down. North and the southern hemisphere. If we want winter time in the northern hemisphere, then remember, it has to be pointing away from the sun. So the Earth's axis is going to be tilted away from the sun. That way, when the sun's rays hits Earth, it's hitting it at an indirect sunlight. Remember that word? Indirect sunlight. So that's what causes winter time, or for our temperatures to drop. Okay. Draw the Earth, Sun, and Moon at a new moon phase. Remember, snef. Snef. So I'm going to do a text box for that. Okay, snef. Right. And if you notice, again, you are going to put the sun. So SNF, this is something that we had mentioned before. And again, draw the sun. Oh, that's the text box. Sorry. The sun right here, sun for SNF, the new moon. And remember, the new moon is when it's a circle that is shaded in entirely. So imagine I'm doing a beautiful job. Okay, and then obviously in the new moon phase, the moon is in between the sun and Earth. Okay, this is Earth. So let me just there you go. Okay, and there's 8 and 9. If you need to go ahead and pause it, go ahead and pause this video. Last one. So label the seasons on the southern hemisphere on the diagram. What are the correct orders for the seasons of fall, winter, and spring? So if you notice right here, it says it wants that specific order. Okay, so first, always start with labeling your diagram. Okay, point A, we want to focus again on the southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere. So we're talking about this bottom half of Earth. Okay, bottom half of Earth. Okay, again, this is when we use the acronym. Oops. This is when we use the acronym of some fart smell. Remember that? Some farts will smell. Okay. The S in some is for summer. So here, just looking at the diagram, you can already notice, okay, here in the southern hemisphere, it's pointing toward the sun. It's pointing toward the sun. So then in point C is when you're going to have summer. And then for some reason, everything goes counterclockwise, remember? So summer. And then from point C, we're going to go to point D. Some farts, so F in farts represents fall. Some farts will for winter. And then smell for spring. Okay. So now that we have labeled those, now you can go ahead, okay, what is the correct order for the seasons of fall, winter, spring, and summertime? Okay, if you notice, okay, fall, winter, spring, and summer. So the correct order is D, A, B, and C. D, A, B, and C. Trust me, guys, you're going to get a test question like this, okay? Make sure you label it first, then go back to the question and look for what it's asking for. Okay. All right, guys. So that was the review. That's pretty much it. Make sure you have everything in there. This is, again, if you had a hard time in any of these sections and you had no idea what we were talking about, please go ahead and make sure that you do the review, study what you need to study, okay? So this is the video that I wanted you to do. Complete the review using Kami, turn in the assignment, and then play the Kahoot game, and the link is right here. You can do it on your own. Please put your first and your last name so you can get credit for today, okay? And that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, email me, and of course, always ask the substitute teacher or the guest teacher that is here with you, and they'll let me know as well. Okay? All right, guys, have a good day. I'll see you until Monday. Bye.